Hello, and welcome to Putting You on the Spot, the podcast that puts you in the spotlight. Make sure to check out our website, puttingyouonthespot.com, for all our episodes, live performances, as well as bonus content as it comes. Make sure that you give us a comment, let us know what you think. Subscribe for further episodes, and we got plenty coming up for you, including today. We want to welcome our DJ friend here, Mr. Stove McGrove.
Yo.
What's up, brother?
Nothing. Chilling.
Thanks for coming down, man.
Anytime. This place is awesome.
Thank you very much. This is the Wadio Studio. Make sure to check out
the Wadio.
Yeah. Make sure to check out Wadio on Mixlr. He does local music, all local music all the time. Local bands and stuff like that. Host it right out of here.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So welcome down, man. You're a friend with our video engineer and producer Charles. So
friend and business partner.
Yeah, there you go. So he hooked us up, and we wanted to have you down because I got to be honest, I don't know shit about DJing, but I'm very
You're gonna learn.
I'm very interested in it.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us a little bit about your background?
All right. So my background, I was 18 when I started, and so my dad, I gave him the idea. Like, I was 18, just fresh out of high school, the summer out of high school. And I was going to a lot of parties, house parties and stuff, and no one ever had a DJ. I was like, okay, I think I could do this. Because I was already listening to the music, way different genre than I play now. The genre that I listened to then was just, it was horrible to me, at least now. But yeah, then I got into electro house. But my dad bought me a mixer, surprised me for Christmas, and in December. And then the next summer after that, I started DJing just house parties, and I would take like two old PAs with one of these like giant amplifiers that like this big, and it was like a home theater amplifier.
Okay.
And I would plug that in, and then I would put my little tiny mixer that I had with two little jog wheels on one, and then a laptop with a broken screen that I somehow acquired. And I would DJ the parties, and people would they just loved it. And then eventually I was 18, so then I saw a thing on Facebook, and it was like, oh, come and apply to like be a club promoter or whatever. And I asked them, I was like, hey, can I be a DJ instead? And they were like, well, it's 21 and over. And I was like, I'm 18 though. And they were like, well, I was like, what if I drink? And they were like, not about that. They were like, you can't drink, you can't do that. And they were like, let's hear your mix. So I gave him a CD. I came in with a resume, actually, thinking that I needed a resume. I had no idea how it worked. I did not need a resume. I looked like an asshole.
Well, you didn't know, you learn as you go.
Yeah, it was funny. They literally crumpled it up, and they were like, we don't need this. We need to just hear you. I was sitting at Silk, which was a club that closed over by meat farms out east somewhere. And then they put on my mix along with the other couple of DJs, and they were like, this kid is really good. You're hired.
Nice.
And like that was just how it started, and just snowballed from there.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Like, as long as you know what you're doing, like, the rest of the shit is semantics. Like, when I first got into live audio engineering, it was the same thing. I had a friend that was a bartender at a music venue, and like, I originally went to school for film and video, but like, I wanted to do audio, but like, the high school that I went to when I got into tech school, they didn't have an audio program. They had video. I was like, I'll learn how to use audio equipment through there. And so like, I learned some stuff from that. And then my bartender friend, their sound guy at their venue, just walked out one day, and she's like, oh, you know how to use a soundboard, right? I was like, yeah, I've used the soundboard before. Not really for live music, but I started. It wound up working out real well. I got hired on the spot, and I've been doing it ever since now, like 15 or so years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So with DJing, like, tell me like a little bit, like, because I don't know about like if there's like there's different styles of music to play and stuff like that. Do you have particular like styles of music that you work with, that you like to spin?
Genres, yeah. So first I started with electro house. That was in the beginning of the story where I told you when I went with the resume.
Mm-hmm.
That was when it was big, back when I was 18. I'm 29 now. Someone else could do the math. And, yeah, so then I was doing that on my own. I was managing myself. And then I met this girl, and she knew someone who was a manager looking for a team of DJs to do, and he was a very popular promoter in New York City and Brooklyn and like all of like the underground shows and stuff like that. So he heard me spin, and he was like, "You have to spin this genre though." So I went out and I found tracks. This girl helped me get some tracks together that I downloaded. I actually buy all of my music, just so everybody knows.
You're not ripping it from Spotify?
Not ripping it from Spotify, not ripping it from YouTube. I buy all my tracks to support all the artists, which
That's
is
cool.
very important because when I throw out stuff that I produce, I would like the same reaction.
Mhm.
And yeah, so then I started spinning tech house, and then eventually went to techno, which people really mistake. They don't understand those subgenres, but techno is the stuff that you play at 4 a.m. for after hours, and tech house is the stuff you'll play for like from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
That's the bumping stuff.
Yeah. No, not really. No,
Really?
it's the opposite way,
Oh,
actually.
you know what? I forget the club scene is definitely a later scene.
Yeah. So yeah, like Pasha was one of my favorite places to DJ at in New York City.
Mhm.
And so I would always get the after hours spots. So I would sleep until I would go to sleep at like midnight, wake up, take like a 3-hour nap, normal night sleep before. Take a 3-hour nap, wake up, get on the train, go to Penn Station, and then I would go to Pasha, and I'd be on probably around like 4:30 a.m.
Jeez.
So I would do after hours there, and like a bunch of spots in Queens, like a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff closed because of COVID.
Yeah.
But it's gonna bounce back. I feel like it's gonna bounce back. I hope so, at least.
Yeah, and in certain places they've been doing their best. It's been
Yeah.
tough, obviously. To how do you dance with a mask and socially distance?
Exactly.
But a couple of places have figured it out.
Yeah, that's the good thing about being a DJ. You don't really have to dance. I'm not a good dancer.
You stand up in the back and let everybody else do their thing.
No, actually, I'm dead center. Everyone's staring at you.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, no, when you're in those types of clubs like that are like real clubs,
It's a performance.
it's a performance. It's like a live band, but you're just your own person up there, and you don't have to rely on anybody but you. So if you screw up, they know. Especially
Gotcha.
the music snobs. The music snobs, oh man, they are the worst critics. They will ruin your career if they catch you messing up.
Oh, you find that in all genres of music too.
Yeah, so I started with tech house. I got signed to a 5-year contract to Stone Entertainment with the manager Alex Stone, who ended up becoming one of my best friends. He's still in contact with me, still gives me pointers and stuff, and I had him and his cousin Paige basically kind of like, and a couple of other people in our label, my friend Dan, Gio, and I forgot the other person's name. Sorry. It's a long time ago. I think I was 20. Yeah, 20 when I got signed.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, 20. And then I still was not allowed in the 21 and over, but Pasha made it an exception. They're closed now, so I can't get them in trouble, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're not going to listen to this anyway. So I was DJing the basement where the beginners go.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I ended up liking techno better. It was like harder, heavier, and all the real music people were there for the music, not to just go out and get drunk at the club and hit on girls.
Hmm.
So if you stayed after 4 a.m., which everyone did, and everyone would flock to the basement after 4 a.m. because that was where they knew the music was going to be after the main headliners were done.
Hmm.
And so there was a couple of times that like I drew more people surprisingly into the basement, and like some like top-notch promoters heard me, and that's how it just snowballed and went. And like that was how I ended up getting into it. I did that for 5 years, and then now I'm working with the company Virtual Paradise, which my buddy Brad Vanderhoff, he's also a DJ vault hunter.
Okay.
He's the founder and the CEO, and we met through Facebook because I just made a status one day. I was like, hey, how do we DJ streams if Facebook is going to cut out the tracks that we're DJing because they have the copyright stuff, which is a real pain in the ass. So we got zucked. And so we got zucked after a while of doing it. So we moved over to Twitch, and we just posted the link, and then with Twitch, we have to make sure that we rip if we want to record it before it gets copyright pulled.
Gotcha. But they do wind up pulling
Yeah,
it.
but now people are figuring out. So if when you're playing the tracks, you can put the name of the track up on the video of the stream, and you won't get in trouble because you're crediting the artist.
Okay, see, that makes sense. I'm glad that they give you the option to
they're
do
giving
that.
you an option, and like it's all artist discretion too. Like you don't have to let people do that. You can still like get in trouble. It's kind of like a gray area, really. Like like a Fire Stick streaming stuff. Like that's pretty much what kind of area we're in right now.
Gotcha.
And but yeah, Twitch is starting to really promote like the big streams, like famous DJs and stuff. And because YouTube's kind of a pain a little bit, bashing YouTube too and Facebook.
It's all good. That's why we try to host our stuff from our own website. Like we still put stuff up on YouTube as well because so many people still use it. But like doing an interview and stuff isn't that big of a deal. And luckily we try to keep it not too controversial because everybody's got a stick up their ass these days.
Oh
but
my God, I
when
know.
we have bands come in and perform and stuff like that, we try to keep the videos separate, for the live performances and stuff. And rightfully so. Like one band that we had in here, they have all their music copyrighted. So when we put up the video, instantly YouTube recognized the music and put a copyright thing on it saying we can't monetize the video, which is fine. That we're not looking to make money off of somebody else's music anyway.
Yeah.
But but we had to keep them separate because just in case they're like, oh no, go fuck yourself, and then they pull it. We do everything from our own website, and I'm seeing a lot more people figuring out that infrastructure now and trying to bypass some of these Twitches and stuff like that. The hardest thing is
we figured it out.
Exactly, but you got to have somebody that knows what they're doing.
We do have somebody who is also one of the founders, John Kelly. He is very, very good at tech stuff. I can't even explain what this guy does because I don't really know, but he manages to rip it before it gets zucked, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know Mark Zuckerberg I don't even know if he has his hands in Twitch or not, but somehow YouTube, Twitch, all the streaming services, they do the same shit. It's really annoying as like a lower artist, like we're not famous. We don't have millions of dollars to like throw in and say, hey, YouTube, here's $1 million.
Yeah.
Let us play this music. Here's all the copyrights to send out to all the artists of our hour set that we're playing 25 to 30 tracks of. Like we have to make sure those artists gets compensated.
Yeah.
Me, that's why I buy the music, hoping, that on Beatport is usually where I buy my music. They have pretty much everything. It's a very well-known site.
Yeah, and usually when you use one of those sites, you're basically gaining access to the copyright. So when you go out to perform live, you don't run into any licensing issue where all of a sudden, DJ Khaled walks in like, oh, you're spinning my shit. Like,
so you don't get sued. And that's why me and Charlie, we opened up Omen Virtual, our web designing website, and we're making Virtual Paradise's website so we can do something similar to yours.
That's cool. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have all the bios of all the DJs written up. We got a bunch of great DJs and producers. Everyone is so cool on it. And like I met them all through just because I made a Facebook status. I was like, how are we going to make the scene okay on COVID? Like, how are we going to keep this alive? Like, and my friend Brad, the owner, figured it out, and they put their heads together, and I helped them out because I do IT for work. And, I gave in, so this girl connected us together, and they were like, we're trying to do this. You want to be a part of it? And I didn't even know them. I met them from Facebook. Now they're my best friends. I'm actually going to be moving into like a house, and we're going to set up a huge studio. It's going to be sick. Kind of like this one. We're looking for one, like 4 of us are getting a house in August, and we're going to look for a basement that we can do up like this.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have like these crazy DJ rigs and stuff. Like we have standalone controllers. Like mine's not standalone because I use Tractor. Tractor is like, it's my bread and butter. I really love the program, and I refuse to switch to Redbox. Redbox is like the Pioneer and Denon like stuff. And you know what? I like mixing in key. That's another thing that's really important to me, actually. Mixing in key.
And what does that mean?
So basically, like, how you would have like F minor, and it would go down. It uses the Camelot table, which colors it pretty much.
Okay.
And I actually take the tracks, and it shows me on my screen, and it puts them in the order of the key. So I mix in key.
So even going beyond like, you know, BPM matching and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. So it's more than just BPM matching. BPM is the easy part. And then finding the key used to be hard. I used to have to put together sets like when I first started. They didn't have this technology now. I wasn't even using Tractor. I was using Serato, which I don't like, but they're starting to catch up. They're at least starting to catch up. They got something pretty cool.
Yeah, they're kind of like the entry level, right?
They are. Yeah, that's what I started using was Serato first when I got my first mixer. And the cool thing, like when I came home with the contract that I signed for the thing, and gave it to my dad thought I was just going to do nothing. I was coming home drunk every night because there was free beers for the DJ, you know, free drinks. I was coming home drunk I didn't even have a job yet. I was just doing Tuesday through Sunday DJing just all the time, just whatever I could grab. I didn't even care. 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. I was there. I was like,
that's your job.
Yeah, I didn't care. There could be 5 people in front of me. Look, I'm about to DJ for 2. Like, it doesn't matter to me. As long as someone's listening and they're enjoying it, I'm in for it.
There you go. It's the same thing with local musicians, like with bands and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I've played in front of 2 people, you know, at a small bar, and I've played in front of a few thousand. And, you know, as long as they're enjoying it, then I'm having the same amount of enjoyment.
Same thing. Yeah, I could have one person in front of me jamming out. Like, I do it in my room with my friends now because of COVID. I have my whole setup. I have the JBL floor sub, an 18-inch floor sub, and then a JBL Eon 15-inch PA. So basically, I got my own club in my room.
Yeah, because that's a lot of power for a room.
Oh my God, yeah, it's probably about half the size, no, a little bit more than half the size of this room.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, you know how it hits. And I got to keep the sub on like -14.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's pretty much it. And then I got the Hue lights from Amazon. And I bought this little app for $5. Takes the audio from your phone, and the Hue lights are RGB. So it goes every color on and it goes to the music, and then it has a strobe where it'll strobe a white light, kind of like the one that's like on me right now, and it goes to the music. And then I got a little laser light that shoots out just like a red and green one. It's kind of like those Christmas lights that lazy people do.
Yeah.
They put the little laser light out on the lawn and they call it their Christmas lights. And I'm like, you guys are lazy. Like, yeah, so I got one of those in my room, and you know, that's where I rock out. I got an L desk, and I built a rig. And I basically went to Micro Center and told them, I was like, listen, I didn't even know like this much about building, because like this was a whole different world from working where I used to work at PC Richard, which is a great place to work. And they had me fixing computers and stuff, and along with other appliances and electronics. So that was how I got into it. And then I built a rig, and I basically went to Micro Center, and they were like, how much are you looking to spend? I told them no limit. So
hey, that's the worst thing to tell them.
Oh my God, yeah! I walked out. I spent between the screens. I spent about $3,200.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, two curved monitors, Asus monitors. I got, and then a $2,500 rig.
Gotcha. Yeah, the minute that you say no limit, they just hear cha-ching.
Yeah, cha-ching. Whoever that guy was that set me up with it.
Got a good commission.
Oh yeah, he probably took off the next week.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I love Micro Center. I've gotten my laptop and some other stuff from them. They really know what they're doing, and they have some of the best prices. You know, even when I've looked up stuff online, like I can't find better prices almost anywhere else.
You are right about that. And they have crazy sales too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like around Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that stuff, you can find, you know, like something that might be like just a few months out of date, but could really like last you the next couple of years. You'll find it for like half off. You know, it's pretty wild.
My mistake was telling them I wanted the newest stuff out, and I got the newest stuff out, and they were like, I was like, how long is this gonna be like good? And they were like, you don't have to upgrade anything for about 7 years. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I really got myself into something. I better do stuff with this.
And of
So
course, new stuff will come along and everything like that. But as far as
yeah,
like processors and stuff like that, they've kind of almost reached a limit with like, the
yeah.
hardware side of thing. Silicone, they can only go so small with the chips and everything like that and all the
Yeah,
processors.
that's why I bought the Ryzen 9. It's equivalent to I switched from Intel to AMD. I like AMD a lot better.
Yeah, they've really come a long way.
Yeah, I they're better for music in my opinion, I think.
Hmm.
I don't know why exactly, but I feel like things run smoother. That's why I have the Asus laptop to run my mixer on. That laptop, the graphics actually run off of RAM, so I put 32 gigs of RAM inside my laptop to run the
Hmm.
graphics, and it runs flawlessly off the mixer.
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah,
that used to be hard to do when I first started.
I bet.
I used to have to use CDs and MP3 sticks, and I would plug them in, and there would be no computer, and you would just have to do it by ear. You'd always be wearing the headphones like this,
Hmm.
so you could hear the outside and you hear the booth monitor.
Hmm.
And you'll see me still do it, and then I'll wear them around my neck like this, because I like to listen to it coming out of the speakers instead
Hmm.
of listening to it through the headphones, because I have to actually listen to the next track that I'm bringing in through the headphones, which is very important.
Hmm.
So and then you have to beat match,
Yeah.
and
So,
everybody bashes on a sync button or whatever. I've done vinyls, I've done CDs, I've done it. I'll cheat sometimes, use the sync button. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, every DJ does, especially when you see them. They have Tractor pulled up. You'll see a Control X one, which is a very popular unit from them.
mm.
If you see that, they're using the sync. And also, if they have a crazy light show, like a really good light show that goes to the music, like that, like an expensive one, like Electric Zoo, Electric Daisy Carnival.
Mhm.
Those are actually pre-recorded sets, some of them in 15-minute intervals on discs.
Yeah, which it's got to if you want everything to sync up perfect. And when people
Yeah,
are spending big money for that kind of
yeah.
production,
And the pyrotechnics too and stuff
yeah,
like
you can't be
that.
fucking that up.
Yeah, no, if you fuck that up, then I've seen it fuck up too. One of my favorite artists, Deadmau5, actually at Coachella, the whole music shut off, and this is how I figured it out. The light show kept going. And I
Uh,
was like, whoa, why are the lights still doing? I knew the song. I was like, the lights are going to the music still. And then I did some research, and then I realized that sometimes you have to have a pre-recorded light show, but they still do the mixing. Especially him. He is one of the best producers. I honestly think Deadmau5 is the best DJ, best producer, one of my biggest influences
all
out.
right.
Yeah, because he does everything analog, does not play anybody else's music unless it's a
Wow.
remix of his. And so he only plays his tracks and remixes of his tracks, or tracks he worked on.
Wow, that's
So he
impressive.
doesn't consider himself a DJ, because a DJ is somebody who plays other music.
Gotcha. He's more of he's a producer.
He's a producer,
Mhm.
and his studio is insane. It's like, I don't know if you could see on the cameras, the walls is just walls and just 1/4-inch jacks that he's plugging stuff into, making different noises. It's like,
Patch boards and synth kind of stuff
yep,
all over the place.
exactly, like keyboard and like everything. And then
Wow.
like he does strictly analog.
Mm,
That's what makes him stand out.
gotcha. Yeah.
And the mouse head is the coolest part.
I remember first hearing about him because he does a bunch of, or at least used to. They used to pump him on Adult Swim. Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. They used to bump his stuff and promote his stuff all the time.
Yeah.
That was
He's
almost
great.
10
He's
years ago.
hysterical. I think probably one of my favorite things he did was when he got forget what car. It was either a Ferrari or a McLaren, and he wrapped it with the Nyan cat, the cat that's a Pop-Tart with the rainbow, and they took the car away from him. They said Ferrari.
Yeah,
it
it
was,
had
I
to
believe.
be Ferrari. They're very,
Yeah,
very anal.
they told him give back the car. You're not allowed to wrap it and put this Nyan cat on. So McLaren, I'm pretty sure, it might be reversed, don't quote me on it. McLaren gave him a McLaren and said, do what you want with it. And he
Yeah.
rewrapped it with the Nyan cat. And then he started doing his Go and Get Coffee shows, his YouTube channel. He would have celebrities and DJs and stuff come in and come sit with him. And he would just drive erratically with them drinking coffee, and it's just spilling everywhere. Like,
Oh,
and
that's
he
great.
was just ripping in a McLaren, like. And yeah, and he wrapped it with the Nyan cat. It was baby blue with the Pop-Tart cat,
That's
and then a big
awesome.
rainbow down the side.
Yeah, I'm sure you have those car companies correct, because I've heard from different podcasts and stuff, and people talking about Ferraris. Like, if you buy
Yeah.
something new from a Ferrari, it's almost like you're not buying it. It's almost like you're leasing it.
It is,
like when
yeah.
you walk out with that car, you're representing their brand.
That's
as a badge
exactly
of
what
honor.
they said. Yeah, and then McLaren was like, "Nah, we don't give a shit. Just
Yeah.
keep the logo on it." Like,
Yeah. McLaren, they're a fantastic company, because one, they got their start in F1, and they pretty much just did F1s, and then every once in a while they would do a McLaren version of like a Mercedes or something like that, like a Mercedes AMG McLaren version and stuff like that, until they got into the production car game back in like 96 or something like that, and their first production car was the McLaren F1. And it had the speed of an F1 car. It was the fastest car at the time, beat out the Bugatti. It was like 232 miles an hour the thing could do. And they were big on the street, for the people that could afford them in like 90,
yeah,
97,
who
98.
can afford them is right.
Yeah, like I think Jay Leno's got one, and on his show, Jay Leno's garage, like he's driving, he's got the camera crew in, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're not gonna say how fast we're going right now." And then he's giving all the details of the car, and he's like, even the Sony created a special CD player that's like half the weight of a normal CD player, for weight requirements. He's like, but if you listen to CDs in this car, you don't deserve to drive this car.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if it's not wave quality, then
Yeah.
you shouldn't be listening to it in that car. And honestly, I don't even know what sound systems they put in that car. I have a good sound system in mine. It's Bose, and then I got two competition subs in the back, 12-inch subs. I have a big truck, so
Gotcha. Yeah,
that's
so you
where
got the room.
I love it, because instead of like being in my room, like just I have that clear quality coming from there. I get to hear what other people hear that have good car sound systems. So when I bump my mix, I always go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
I'm my harshest critic. There's been so many times like I'm recording a mix, and when you're recording a live mix, different from live streaming is it's like playing a show. But when you're recording a mix and you're going to post the mix, like I'm going to post this mix to my SoundCloud too. I'll rip the audio off of it, or you guys do it at some point or whatever.
Not a problem.
And yeah, so if you fuck up during a mix, you have to cue that point where you fucked up and mix in before and re-listen to it as it's recording. So you re-listen to it. So I'm basically just sitting there like I am right now with the mixer in front of me, just waiting to get to the part where I got to mix back in. And that's if you fuck up. And it's so annoying, because sometimes I would do like a 2-hour, 3-hour set, and I would fuck up 2 hours in. I'm like, now I got to listen to 2 hours of what I just listened to.
That's wild.
And yeah, and then now I got to redo it, and it's just exhausting. And then it takes like 5 hours to make a 2-hour mix.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that goes into it than I thought. Like I know like some basics of DJ stuff, like,
Yeah.
but like, just like you were saying, the key matching and all that kind of stuff. Like, these are things that I had no idea. So being a DJ, and especially if you're producing your own stuff, it goes, you're an engineer, like of so many sorts, because
Really,
you're sitting
you
there,
are.
it's all your BPMs, what key are you playing in? You got to get your volumes just right, because you're also you're sound engineering at the same time. You
mixing and mastering as well.
Exactly, and especially when you're out playing live, even working with bands and stuff as a live sound engineer. I could have the same equipment, it's my equipment that we bring out, and every room is going to sound different, and I got to tweak it to that room. The acoustics are a little bit different. How many people you got in there? Like, you might have it set for, okay, we want this bass bump and everything, and then there's only 10 people in the crowd, and it, and it sounds good. But then all of a sudden, once like 50 people walk in, all of a sudden it's absorbing all that bass frequency, and you got to reset your crossovers and stuff like that to get that that tone back into the room. So you're doing all that while mixing music. Like that's incredible, man.
Yeah, I shouldn't have smoked a cigarette yesterday. That's a terrible idea. It's killing my throat. Yeah, I know. I vape. All the gay jokes.
It's all good. It's you know what? To each their own, man. Like everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, I know. It's I think probably my favorite meme is like the doctor when it's a doctor standing there with a kid, and he's like, He's like, do you smoke? He's like, nah, I vape. He goes, gay. And like, I'm like, that's kind of mean because like gay people are like the nicest people.
Yeah.
And like, but they're not using it in that context. I'm not even gonna get into that shit.
I know
like,
the power of words are it's always been a strong thing, but like
like I said, it was
the
a
culture
meme.
these days. Yeah, it's gotten
something
a lot
to
different.
laugh at, like everyone gets it's something to laugh
Like
at.
I thought South Park covers everything, and they always hit everything months before it becomes like an issue. But they had a whole episode about the gay thing, is that there was all these bikers moving into town, and they were calling them fag, the gay, and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, like the town is seeing all these like derogatory like signs all over the place. Like, oh my god, I thought we were over this, And so all the gay community's up in arms and stuff, and it turns out it's just the kids making fun of the bikers, and they're like, "You hate gay people?" And they didn't even know what gay meant. That they understood the word as like just
Before
a general term.
That's what it was. It was like calling somebody a faggot. Like it just means they're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like they're not trying to make it like against you.
Yeah. But it also has been used in a derogatory term.
Yeah, it has been.
Which
is
derogatory
unfortunate.
term, yeah.
It's very unfortunate that people do that because I have a lot of gay friends, and you know what? They're some of the best people that I've ever met. Like, I have best friends that are gay and stuff, and like I love them to death. And as long as everybody respects boundaries, then it's fine.
Yeah, it's just
they're people.
Everybody's just so quick to get like upset with things because what? Every human being, every word, every phrase that we says, it's not just binary and black and white. There's nuance. There's context. What is your intention with the word that you're saying? You're busting, with your friend. You're like, that's gay. Do you mean, oh, you're a homosexual and I don't like homosexuals? No. Is that your intent? If that's not your intent, then what's the issue?
Yeah.
But we get so caught up in just the binary of the word or the context and not the process or the intent. Things are so much more nuanced than people like to give it credit for. And in an age where we're like, non-binary, and stuff like that, yet everything has to be so binary. It's either this or it's that. It's either left or it's right. Like,
especially being in the public eye, like as a DJ myself, me, honestly, I never even touch those topics. I don't care about them because as long as you're a nice person and you're cool,
all that should matter.
And you don't talk shit behind people's backs, that's all that matters to me. I don't care what you look like, what you're into, whatever.
Exactly.
It's just you want to be my friend, you can be my friend.
And when you're out there on the dance floor, just have a good time. That's all. That's what life is about. Just have a good time and make it through it. Make it through alive as long as you can with happiness. That's
I keep almost hitting my face on this microphone.
Yeah, we're trying a new setup. How's it working?
It's working great. I feel like I'm like I don't know. About to put
you can always move it if you need to.
Yeah, put my mouth on it.
Thus the pop filter.
Yeah, I know. I'm ordering these. These are sick.
Yeah,
I have the old school one where it comes around with the thing on my crane mic. I gotta update that, and I gotta get some more foam. I ordered foam, and it made on Amazon. It made it seem like it was so much bigger than it was, and it ended up being like this big.
Yeah,
like 12
it's always
feet.
like that.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was ordering a whole room of foam, and then I was like, "Fuck!" It got here. I was like, "This is like dog foam you put down for a dog."
Well, here's a trick that I learned. If you look at the ceiling,
yeah, I noticed that.
Mattress toppers.
Oh yeah, I know. I gave mine to my father, unfortunately, and asked for it back, and he told me no. So I was like, "All right, fine, you can keep it. I'll order a new one. I'm gonna cut it up anyway."
But yeah, acoustic foam, all that stuff. It's very important stuff. So here's another question, because you were talking about the key matching and stuff like that before. So I would assume having some bit of knowledge of music theory could be really helpful in that, because especially when you're working with keys and stuff like that, you could also start to mess around with like fifth notes and seventh notes. Like if you're working with the C,
you can convert. Actually, in the program I use, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay.
You can convert to like number keys, and you have musical sharp, and then number.
Okay.
So you can convert to any key you're comfortable with. Me, I personally use musical because I started off playing guitar before I was a DJ. Easier for me to understand.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And like me, I did not come from a music school or anything like that. Like I kind of just picked it up, and you know what? obviously the first song I learned on guitar was Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, that's everybody.
And then I started taking lessons once the guy started trying making me read sheet music. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I want to play ska music. At the time, I ended up being in a ska band, and I was like, why are you having me play Mary Had a Little Lamb of keys, that these things that I don't even know what I'm looking at? And like, it's just crazy. I quit. I was like, I'm gonna learn. As soon as he taught me tablature and full bar, double bar, and like the basic chords, I was just like, yeah, I don't need you anymore. The internet's here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like it was like back in the AIM days.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I'd be like on
You got
AIM looking
there.
up. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I was still getting fucking AOL discs in the mail.
Oh, jeez.
That was when I started
Yeah.
playing guitar. I was very, very young,
Mm.
and and my poor parents. I sucked when I started. Same thing with DJing. I mean, I picked that up a lot faster though, but I think
Gotcha.
that was coming from a guitar background.
Yeah. So again, having some knowledge of like
Yeah.
chord structure and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I
that
never
could
went to
help.
school for any of it. I literally just said fuck it and did it.
Mhm.
And then
So like if you're playing a song and we'll use like the C major scale, because no sharps, no flats. If you're playing something in like the key of C, you could throw in something afterwards that's like in G, and that's your harmonic fifth off
Yeah.
of that, and they would still flow, but they're
Exactly.
different, but they
See
can
me,
still work together.
yeah, see me, I don't really know music theory that well.
Mm.
I'll admit that. So that's why I love Tractor, because it does it for me.
Got
The
makes it
Camelot
simple.
table is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it does it for me. It puts it in key. I know it's a little bit. It's actually like probably a DJ secret, because there is still DJs, the older guys that still DJ by ear, and but I think they run like now. If you see them with USBs, Record Box does have that mostly now. It's either Tractor or USBs. No one really uses Serato as much.
Gotcha.
But because Serato's having a little trouble catching up, Tractor is a very, very advanced program compared to theirs, I would think, since the last time I used it, at least.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at now. I'll never go back. But, I mean, it was a good program to start with because, I learned how to do it without all the fancy stuff that makes it easier.
Gotcha.
So that was how I learned. And also, another thing with the clubs that you were explaining before, how every room has a different setup. See, me, I got my personal mixer here. But when I started doing bigger clubs in New York City and Brooklyn and stuff like that, you don't get to use your equipment.
Oh, you got to use their stuff.
You
Yeah.
bring an audio interface, and I always brought this little side piece that was for my effects and my cue points, just so I had that, so I know like something familiar.
Mhm.
And I'd be plugging into CDJs and a regular Pioneer mixer, and that you got to just set it up and go for it. And I didn't know that. I've played on rotary mixers where instead of a fader going up and down, it was a knob.
Oh, wow.
At Dream in the Hamptons, actually. That place was cool. I was playing with this artist, Chris Vargas. He's a pretty big local guy in New York City. And that was a fun party. And it's in the Hamptons, so it was like outdoor too, kind of.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was actually a crazy day. There was a bunch of ladies that my mom actually knew. And she found out from the video of me. She was like, I know that lady. It was her Zumba teacher dancing on a bar.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, are you serious? I was like, you know that girl? I was like, she was dancing on the bar my whole time in my set. I was outside in the back part of Dream, and I was DJing out there. It was fun, and they had CDJs set up, so I was using my stuff. I got like one picture of me, and I looked so focused because I was DJing on a weird mixer that I've never used before. So and now mine actually has screens on it, so I don't even really look at the laptop. The laptop is just to hold the music.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's just
Everything's
storage at this point.
Yeah, it's really just storage. Like, honestly, they have a standalone mixers. It's just I don't like the lack of effects that you can get on a standalone mixer.
Gotcha.
Tractor makes it so you can click and you can map the knobs.
Mhm.
So I map the whole mixer to my liking.
Gotcha. Yeah. And
That's very
and
important.
With the equipment, like I wasn't even thinking about that. All the established clubs, they
They
spend
have their own
yeah,
equipment.
they spend a
Every
lot
club
of
is
money to
different.
have a PA system,
Oh,
installed
yeah, like the
and
Function
tuned
1.
to that room.
The Function 1 I DJ'd on once, and that is one of the best sound systems in the world.
Mm,
And that was the greatest moment of my life, probably.
that's awesome. Yeah, I know.
As far as
I know a guy
musician.
that he he was bigger back in the day, probably in the 80s. He used to build sound systems for clubs and stuff like
The
that.
placement has to be perfect too. With the
Yeah.
Function One, they have
Mhm.
their own people that actually come in and install it. And you, with the Function One, the crazy part is me and you could be like a little bit closer, probably to the edge of the table.
Mhm.
You'll be able to hear me, but the music is loud as fuck still.
Wow.
But it's just placement of where it
Mhm.
is. So you could hear the guy next to you talking. You don't have to scream into their ear like a punk rock show
That's
in a
fantastic.
basement, you know? But and like it's just a lot more technical when it comes down to it.
Yeah. All the angle of attack and,
Yes, and where the
SPL
placement
and
of
all
the
that.
room. A
Exactly.
warehouse is the most ideal place to do it
Mhm.
because then you have a square
Mhm.
and you make the stage, line the stage with all the subs.
Mhm.
Then you put the gate up so the schmucks can't fucking get over and get on the stage. It's
Yeah.
not like punk rock shows.
Mhm.
DJ shows are way different.
Yeah.
And you know, you got all the lighting because if you trip over a light wire or say you unplug a DJ wire, like you're getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Mhm.
Like I've been unplugged before on accident, and I like just pushed the guy out of the way. Not gonna say who. I didn't. I don't even think I remember his name, but he unplugged me like earlier than my set because he thought he was going on at a certain time, and he was in the wrong room.
Mm.
Pasha had a bunch of rooms in there,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
he was in the room above me in the
Mm.
funky room, is what they called it. And he
Yeah.
unplugged one of my things. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" And like I pushed him away. It was kind of a big thing, and like their manager like aired me out on Facebook, and my manager fixed it. And
Oh,
I was
jeez.
like, "I'm sorry, but like you guys were in the wrong spot." I was like,
Mhm.
"I didn't mean like that, but like you were ruining my set, and it was
Yeah.
being recorded.
Mhm.
You unplug one channel, I lose half the sound of the
Yeah,
room."
it dips out. But it's sometimes, not to say that it is, I don't know this person or not, but, there are also a lot of unexperienced, people out there,
Yes.
or only experienced in like one type of thing. So like,
Yeah.
a while back, I was doing, a charity event for somebody. I brought, I set up the sound system and everything like that. I had some bands playing, and then they had a DJ crew, a
Mhm.
little company that was spinning in between, and it was a
Yes.
fashion show as well. So like we had a band go on, and then like we had like
I've done
makeshift
shows like
shade.
that. They're
Yeah,
awesome.
and so we had the stage, sound system, and everything like that. And so the walkway would come this way, they'd come out, and everything like that.
Pretty cool. I wish I would have done that.
Oh, it was
I've always been
fantastic.
dying to go to a fashion show. I don't know why.
So the big problem was though, so like there was no room for the DJs because you have all the chairs, and then you have all the people with the cameras and stuff like that, and then we have all the band stuff. So they were set up kind of in the back corner a little bit. They were just supposed to be, spinning, just basically background music. I hate to say it, but that's
Yeah.
kind of what they were hired for, just to play something in between and for while the
Yeah.
people are walking. And I don't know if they just didn't have experience with like I don't know what their issue was. But all of a sudden, like I'm standing out, towards the front of the walkway, just listening to everything, and all of a sudden the subs start like cranking like way
Oh,
too much,
yeah.
and
Every DJ has that problem when
Yeah.
they first start out. They want to be the loudest and the best.
Yeah.
And you got to understand, like me starting out, like I was saying when I got signed,
Mhm.
I had to open for people. And when you're opening for somebody, you don't want to outdo them because that
Mhm.
embarrasses people, one. And two, that artist is a lot more famous than you are.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
you know
problem
what?
with
You won't get gigs for doing that.
yeah, that you're gonna get a bad reputation.
Yeah, you get a bad rep.
Well, and
like
these
you
guys
can't play his tracks when he's going on next.
Yeah. Oh, that's got to be a real problem.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. That's
Mhm.
why you got to really look and dig through the music.
Yeah.
And like that's why like I always play like Beatport. They have it so I have record labels that I follow
Mhm.
instead of artists, and then I see the date that it comes out. So I make sure like the week of is what I'm playing.
Gotcha.
And I
Yeah.
know who I'm playing with, so I won't play something, I'll play a different style.
Mhm.
So, like, if I was opening for a techno artist that's gonna be doing the 4 AM,
Mhm.
I would play at, like, 126 BPM instead of 128 or
Gotcha.
127,
Mhm.
and, and those are not or even 124 I would go down to, some deep house, which is another thing I've done, like, deep house is usually what they would do at, like, a fashion show.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's the type of music. It's like some people call it elevator music, but they're not really knowledgeable about music because it's a real genre and it's actually good if you want to just chill out and listen.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the music they were playing was fine and everything, but like I said, like I had what was some of my setup. I had these JBL VRX somethings. I can't remember the model number, and then I had Serwin Vega SL36s subs. You know, the 18-inch subs with the folded horn design and everything. Nice, powerful system.
Oh yeah.
But what the problem was is so like I'm sitting out and everything starts bumping and like it's getting muddy and loud. And I'm looking over at my rack of amps and I see that, you know, the subs are starting to, you know, peak and I'm like, they're gonna blow this and we're gonna lose the subs.
Yeah.
So I run over, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like the bass is way too loud. You see you're overpowering the amps over here. What are you doing? Oh, we can't hear the bass. It doesn't sound like there's any sub at all.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
why you need
"You're
a booth monitor.
Yeah, that you're in the back corner about 10 feet behind
You always
into
have
the
one
side
PA
of the
facing
subs.
towards you.
Yeah, and
And then they
big
usually
with big subs, especially like
Yeah.
these, like you're not feeling the effect of that sub until about 10
No.
feet in front of it. So they're 10 feet behind and off to the side
That's
of it. I'm
why
like, you just don't hear it. So I take their main guy and I bring him out to like the center of the room where like
Yeah.
most of the action's going on. And after I had turned everything down and got it back to where we were at,
Mhm.
and we go out there and you could still feel doo in
Yeah.
the chest. I'm like, it sounds fun. He's like, oh, I didn't realize. I thought the subs were barely on. I'm like, no,
Yeah, no.
you're behind them. What do
That
you
was the good thing
expect?
about this is why I never did private parties. Like I started off at private parties, but I would never, ever, 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 I could say ever 10 more times, do something where I was not allowed to play the music that I don't want to play.
Mm,
Like stick me in a genre, but don't tell me what to do.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Like I like personally certain genres too I won't play. I
Yeah.
stick to my genres.
Mm,
My genres like I was signed for specific genres at one point, and now with Virtual Paradise, my friend Brad, who's actually one of my best friends now who owns it, he gave me creative freedom. So like when I play my set later, it's gonna be a lot different from what I used to play when I was signed with Stone Entertainment.
mm.
So now he basically gave me the creative freedom to do whatever I want, and I like one of the main things that I dropped was an influence. Like I love Nirvana, so I figured out how to put Nirvana and this artist Lil Peep. I'm actually wearing a clothing line right now, Sus Boy.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Sus Boy. Love this clothing line. It's probably my favorite. Yeah, so Lil Peep always rocked this, and they made a bunch of one-offs for him. I'm wearing one of the one-offs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this shirt is actually like there was only a couple made,
Mm.
but I think they're mass producing them now. But this one is the authentic one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty pricey now. It went up in price. I'm not gonna say the price though.
But just know that it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. It's past 200. So
Damn.
I didn't pay that for it.
Yeah.
Though.
Well,
I
that's the
paid-
nature of the market, especially with the
Yeah.
clothing game, you know?
Yeah, the clothing game, I got into it heavy, and like Grailed is a great app,
Mm.
and like when things drop, you got to be there. I have an auto refresh where on Chrome as an extension,
Oh, gotcha.
so it auto refreshes every 15 seconds. That's how I get clothes on the drop, and then
Gotcha.
I get like this shirt. I paid $35 for.
Not bad. But yeah, it's a super competitive market, especially
really
for,
is.
for
12, 15 seconds, they're sold out
Yeah. Uh-huh.
because there's only 10, 20,
Gotcha.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like then they don't re-release those shirts. Sometimes they
limited
will.
edition.
Yeah, limited edition. Like it's great. And a lot of people do fake stuff too.
Mm.
So the camera probably can't see it, but on the back here, it's screen printed Sus Boy. That's how you know it's real. There's no
Gotcha.
tag.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah. So that's it. That's how you know. I actually got offered once $500 for this T-shirt when I was in
Damn.
Miami.
Uh,
The guy was like, "Trade me shirts. I'll give you $500." And I was like, "Fuck you." I was drunk, and then I went on stage and I actually sung. I took singing lessons a little bit, but I did. We was way out of our element. It was like kind of like a local bar. Like they were doing karaoke, and me and my friend went up there hammered, and we did In Too Deep. We did it as a duet, like because In Too Deep by Sum 41, they
Mhm.
have like the two singers,
Yeah.
So we did that, and we were just moshing on stage. And at the end, I took the mic. I was like, "Fuck it," and did a mic drop. I was hammered.
That's great.
Yeah, the whole crowd just went quiet. I was like, everybody, the bar was packed, and I was just on vacation in Florida, and like that's the story of this T-shirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great T-shirt.
But you're not in it to resell it, otherwise you wouldn't be selling it.
I'm in it to wear it.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. You know, wash it on cold only, and like make sure it stays in mint condition. I hang it in my closet. I got a bunch of stuff from them and other bands that like bands and artists. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm gonna play it today. It's actually a remix. I forget who made the remix. I didn't make it, so I'm not gonna take credit for it. But they put the song "Beamer Boy" by Lil Peep. They put his acapella over. Also, rest in peace. He's dead. Over the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and I'm gonna drop that into an electronic music set.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you're gonna get to hear that. That's pretty cool. It's some little niche that like now that I have creative freedom, like I'm not in. I mean, I am in contract, but I'm allowed to play whatever I want.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know? They know my style, and they always put me in the time slot of the style that I should be in.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I help manage that as well because I've had very long experience. I'm 29 now. I started when I was 18. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was clubs that actually I got booked accidentally one time, and it was bachata night at the same club Silk that I first started DJing. I happened to have a bunch of remixes of Despacito.
Oh, okay.
And like I just mixed it with electro house, and like I was downloading music, ripping it from YouTube at that time when I was 18. You know, like Beatport, I wasn't even in my realm yet. I was just downloading music as I was playing music.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it was hard to do, and that was without mixing and key and stuff. I was just listening in my earphone. I was switching the jack from the mixer to the computer so I could hear the YouTube going back and forth so I could play Spanish music. And I was like,
but you got it.
Yeah, I got it. I just turned it into techno.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like that.
Had the crowd take it.
They loved it.
That's awesome.
I had two girls next to me in bikinis, like dancing on the stage. And they were like, the other guy didn't show up, so you're playing main slot. I was like, what?
Nice.
I was like, I did not prepare for this.
But you made it happen.
Yeah, I made it happen. And also, a funny thing, too, during one of my other sets, when I was first starting out, I had a shitty HP computer. HP is probably, I'm going to bash them. They are the worst computer to use to DJ. I don't know about them now, but still, I will never touch an HP for the rest of my life.
Bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah, especially working on them at PC Richard. You know, they were the most computer that came in to be fixed.
Gotcha. Always issues.
But yeah, so my disk drive kept back when computers had disk drives. They laptops did. It was a thick laptop too, like that, the size of the mic almost.
Wow.
And
yeah.
it kept popping open, and it would pause the music during my set, thinking I was loading a CD. So I took it and I ripped it as hard as I could, and I ripped the disk drive out of the laptop, hoping it didn't shut off. And just threw it into the crowd, and everybody just started cheering. That was one of my glory moments.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just threw the disk drive out. I was like, this thing is, I don't know why it was malfunctioning like that. Something with the software. It was like load CD. It kept telling me it was on Windows 7.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, so think about how old that was. Like, you know. It was like right when Windows 7 came out, so
Gotcha,
I was using a beta, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we've come a long way since then.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So
definitely.
All right, so just before we go, let the people know where they can find you if they want to hit you up.
So Twitch, Virtual Paradise Festival, and also Virtual Paradise, I'm drawing a blank on the website, virtualparadisefestival.com, I believe it is. You could just search Virtual Paradise on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
and
all of them.
McGrove.
And Stove McGrove, you could actually Google me. And it's spelt exactly like it sounds, STOVEMCGROVE. Stove McGrove. You can Google me, and I am the first links that come up. Unfortunately, Google favored me for some reason. I did not pay for that.
Doesn't matter as long as it works. You know? So, and of course, make sure to check out our website,
Oh, yeah,
puttingyouonthespot.com, We're going to have all our episodes, videos, live performances. Stove's going to do a little live performance for us right now. If you're watching, he's already done this as a live stream. It's going to be our first live stream. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
but if you didn't
anytime.
catch the live stream, check our playlist for performances to see a performance by Stove. Thank you so much for coming down, brother, and
Thank you.
schooling us a
Thank
little
you
bit.
for having me.
Not
Yeah.
a problem, man. So
Yeah.
peace out, folks.
Later.